I'm back again. All right, we're going to have this next question. I think this is the last question on our hilarious kids test answer game of human behavior. Okay, here we go. I have a low budget. I have to make all my own sound effects. It's just me, you know.
We call the science of classifying living
Oops,
things.
let's go back here. Sorry.
Either, so don't worry about it.
I'd like to do it for about a day.
And then pass out.
Yeah.
All right, next question. What do we call the science of classifying living things?
This is tough.
Good. Trying to think like a kid. It's been a while. I live such a mature existence now. It's difficult for me to put myself in the mind of a kid.
And see, that comment right there just blew my mind. Because he's joking, but he's actually saying exactly what I say. We're acting like children. Adults are acting like children. The majority of society, the adults of society, are acting like little children. Want to see if I'm right? Go up to the search bar on YouTube and type in adults playing with toys. And you will see tons of kid channels of adults who have ginormous toy collections. And they act out like a Gumby episode. You know, like a David and Goliath, you know, Gumby episode with the dolls. And I find that bizarre. My daughter loves them. That's why I even know they exist. Because somehow she's been introduced to them from, you know, another child that, you know, with family. So, you know, it's not like I can say no. And I don't care. I'm not, you know, I was way too protected, I guess, as a kid, or I don't know the term, but you know, we were a little bit more relaxed than some of my family. But I had a cousin wasn't even allowed to go to the movies. Didn't matter if it was G. She's a year older than me. Her parents, her dad taught at Arizona State University, taught history. See, I have a lot of connections. I remember going to his classroom. It's absolutely beautiful. My dad took me one time. And I can picture it in my mind. But I love this. So when he says, you know, it's hard for me to think like a kid, it's because he does a show where all he does is act like a kid. This whole channel is these two guys basically doing goofy kid shit. You know, they're taste testing lunches, celebrity lookalike games, they're playing with slime. Their moms are quizzing them. I mean, do you see what I mean? They're tasting, you know, celery and peanut butter and raisins in a smoothie. These are adults. He said it all. I mean, that was right on it. Let's see. Let's listen to him again. Pay attention to this guy right here. He is a grown-ass adult. Probably in his, what, late 20s maybe, early 30s maybe. And he clearly is saying, oh no, he's sarcastic. Saying, oh no, I don't know how to think like a kid.
All right, next question. What do we call the science of classifying living things?
This is tough.
Good. Trying to think like a kid. It's been a while. I live such a mature existence now. It's difficult for me to put myself in the mind of a kid.
Okay. I don't know. Shot in the dark for me. What about you, boys?
I would write Siphomorkia.
What?
Cyphomorchia.
Cyphomorchia. You'd make up a word.
I assume it's a word?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Psychomorphia. Yeah, that's a word. We
Cyphomorphia.
use it all the time in our house.
Yeah.
You guys don't use psyphomorphia?
Well, what was interesting about his comment is that the question asks a scientific question. What is it called to classify living things? And the thing that I found interesting about his answer is that even though it's wrong, he created a word that sounded like it would make sense. He added the morphia. He knows the psychological. The FOMO is in there. Right? He didn't even know he put FOMO. FOMO. Fear of missing out. FOMO. It's a psychological fear of missing out. And this kid said he wants to be cool. This kid wants to be rich. He wants to be cool. And he wants to pass out because he thinks that'll make him cooler. So he makes a cool word. Because if the Fonz had said this, right, we would have, started using it. We would be jumping sharks in no time, right? I love it. He thought for a moment like a scientist, and he took what he knew, what he'd heard before, and he, gathered it all together in some gloopity gloop and came up with a name. I think that's the most beautiful thing ever. I want to see it again. Right? I like his answer. It's very telling of child behavior. Right? I make up words. Crap. Here we go.
Yeah. You'd make up a word.
I assume it's a word?
Oh, here, I will go back.
The mind of a kid.
Okay. I don't know. Shot in the dark for me. What about you, boys?
I would write Cyphomorchia.
What?
Cyphomorchia.
Cyphomorchia. You'd make up a word.
I assume it's a word?
Sure.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
That's
Psychomorphia.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's a
This
word.
kid is
We use
amazing.
it all the time in our house.
Yeah.
You guys don't use psyphomorphia? So what is it? What is it?
Cyphomorchia.
Yeah, psyphomorphia.
Psyphomorphia.
You know, the science of classifying
Never
living
heard of it.
things.
What would you say, Lando?
Boring.
Lando, we're on the same page, bro.
Now look at this. What do we call the classification of living things? And he says boring. And he says boring. I bet Kim says boring. I bet, what's his name over in China says boring. Right? Classifying living things. That's us. We're the living things. Our trees, me, you, our animals. These guys think that classifying those things are boring, which means they have no respect for them. Doesn't mean that they're evil. It just means that, he finds science to be boring. This guy right here. He found the whole science. I found science to be fascinating. And this kid says it's boring because what is it going to do for me?
Boring.
Oh, did you cheat off of my son?
Yeah, I read his mind.
Did you cheat off of Red?
No. I couldn't see over there.
Okay. Boring, huh? Yeah, I wrote. I think the answer they're looking for is taxonomy, but my guess was stereotyping.
That's a good answer, right? What do we call the classification of living things? Stereotyping. Wow. Right? I mean, maybe not for you, for me. Because living things, stereotyping, he's saying that's how we classify people. We stereotype them. They're cool. They're elites. What are stereotypes? I guess stereotyping too, you got, I don't know. I hate rich people. Anyway, you know, I guess like stereotyping in the sense of, and then here we're going to play after I say this, stereotyping in the sense of, you know, maybe Jews are all trying to kill us, take our money. Only some of them. You know, that, you know, blacks like fried chicken or, you know, what's another one? Like, try to think. But they're so stupid. Like Mexicans like beans. Well, of course they do. They eat beans. You know, black people like fried chicken. Who doesn't fucking like fried chicken? And they like fried chicken because chickens are easy to grow, easy to cheap, right? They just keep having more babies. It's like once you have 2 chickens, well, you're set for life now. And so if you're growing up in an area during those days when that stereotype came out, you were eating a lot of fucking chicken. And you're frying that shit up. And because they ate so much chicken, they mastered it. And that's what Popeyes is trying to say. That's what they use to sell you their product. The concept of black Americans have perfected fried chicken because for years it was a really stable food that was cheap and easy. That's our history, right? They also say they like watermelon. Well, guess what grows in the South? Watermelons. Again, something that you don't ever have to worry about once you have one watermelon. You just need a seed. And wait till you see what this kid answered here. Holy shitballs.
All right, let's reveal the answer. Racism.
He wrote racism. What do we call the science of classifying living things? That's just a big fat fucking wow right there. This is the kid. This is what he sees. She sees. Something in her family. Something she's witnessing. He's a part of. Right? And he takes that as I'm classifying living things. I'm a living thing, and you're classifying me as, you know, a bad person. You know, I'll give you an example. Okay, what do we call classifying living things? So let's classify some living people, right? It just, wow. I mean, this is a big problem. And the problem isn't the people. The problem's the fucking word. That's what the problem is. The word. Somehow we need to get past this word. And I know we can do it because we've done it with the N-word, right? We've gotten past that. They now use that as their own term of endearment, which I get because me and my girlfriend call each other cunts. We even have it tattooed on our middle finger. We have the same tattoo. We have a heart, a broken heart. And she has the CU on her finger, and I have the NT on mine. And when we put them together, it's a heart that says cunt. So I get it. So we got to do something about this word because this word is holding us back. We need to stop talking about it. I think that all this talk, all these whites and blacks getting together and having some fucking conversation in some, you know, college auditorium, it's not doing it. It's not helping us. It's making us stupider and making us more hateful. The fact that every time somebody of a different race does something, other races lose their fucking shit. And here in America, we shouldn't have this anymore. This really shouldn't exist. We've outgrown it. It's been 60 years ago. In 20 more years, it will have completed its 80-year life cycle. And then it has to decay, or it has to become old. Not decay, but an old man, an old woman. Racism needs to become an elderly for about 10 years. And that's when we'll see niceness. But the problem is that until then, it's not going anywhere. I think this is so sad.